The following match, scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit, is for the OVW Television Championship. Introducing first the challenger, the party starter, Bud Dwight.
We welcome you into Davis Arena, ladies and gentlemen, 4400 Shepherdsville Road in Louisville, Kentucky, as we press our way to the Saturday Night Special, September the 3rd, right here in Ohio Valley Wrestling. Gilbert Corsi alongside my broadcast colleague, Ron Head. The question is, who will be the television champion come the Saturday Night Special? It is on the line right now.
And it's a special stipulation because, well, we'll tell you about the stipulations after the introductions to this title match. And his opponent from Jonesboro, Arkansas, weighing 220 pounds, the current reigning and defending OVW TV champion, Shotgun Tony Gunn.
When you look at Tony Gunn, the television champion, and Bud Dwight, it's a story of competition that turned into contempt. Former friends, better enemies, but this tonight, Ron Head, their last stand.
That's right, because Dean Hill has stipulated that the loser cannot challenge the winner for the TV title again for 6 months. Now, these two have had so many classic matchups. They've been compared to Ricky Steamboat and Barry Windham in their prime. We never got to see Ricky Steamboat and Barry Windham lock up in their prime. But we got the next best thing as party starter Bud Dwight. After he's been beamed with the TV title belt in the face, after he's been knocked out, he's looking for vengeance and giving some hang time to Shotgun Tony Gunn. And being so aggressive.
And the champion is on his heels as the party starter is chasing. Every singles title in OVW will be on the line in this hour, ladies and gentlemen. Plus, Reverend Stu praying for answers. He won more games. He gets whatever match he wants against whomever he wants. What will the pastor choose?
Will it be a title match? Will he seek to get revenge? Maybe against people that have injured him in the past as Bud Dwight.
Well, immediately, many thought that when the Pastor Stu won War Games that he would turn his attentions to getting back the Southern Tag Team titles. Certainly, that's what his partner, Adam Revolver, thought. But last week, the Pastor said he was praying for clarity. And you know who needs clarity right now is the party starter, Bud Dwight, who looks like he is seeing stars after that clothesline from Tony Gunn.
Bud Dwight looks like he's knocked silly right there and not looking like he's going to get that TV title as Tony Gunn with a look of fire and hatred in his eye. These two men, former partners, former traveling buddies, and a snap suplex from outside to the inside, floats over, and a 2 count.
You know, Tony Gunn and the party starter Bud Dwight are two superstars who had known each other for a long time, but really became close friends when they sat on the shelf for the better part of a year with the same injury, that torn labrum. It was the party starter who made it back to action first. He returned to Ohio Valley Wrestling, I think it was around last September. And then shortly thereafter, in March, we saw Tony Gunn make his return at the Nightmare Rumble.
And right now, Bud Dwight, earlier on, he hit that hangover slam. Of course, he has that inebriation. But a lariat by the party starter on Tony Gunn. Tony Gunn, the veteran, the man who's been down the road with Moondog Spot, all through Memphis, all through the USWA, and now.
Bud Dwight is young and hungry, though, and he's tasted that OVW television championship before. But the veteran, with the wherewithal to know where he is, where the ref is, and where his opponent is. I believe that Gunn pushed the referee into the ropes on purpose to make the party starter, well, get caught in a precarious position.
Another champion.
Look at this!
Hurricane Rana from the top, and Bud Dwight's in serious trouble.
Cover here, leg is hooked, the party starter's out in 2.
You
do not see a Hurricane Rana very often from the likes of Tony Gunn.
Well, that's what makes him so dangerous. Tony Gunn can hit a Hurricane Rana while resorting to sneaky tricks, and yeah, maybe he did try to move the referee to crotch Bud Dwight.
Which is
on
why
purpose.
It's so surprising that Tony Gunn would have to break rules and don the kind of attitude that we've seen as late. Because When Tony Gunn comes out week after week and says he's the best wrestler here, there are many times where he shows us those qualities. He should not be the kind of guy who never met a rule he didn't want to break.
Well, a lot of people may argue that that's part of the complete package. And gets caught with a boot to the side of the head and crashes and burns to the floor. And what's Bud Dwight doing? Bud Dwight now.
That's a big boy. Bud is perched high in the air. Incoming! High risk, big reward. Clothesline to the floor, and Gunn is in trouble.
All the way from the top turnbuckle, a lariat from the top to the floor. The TV champion, Tony Gunn. Looks like his eyes are rolling in the back of his head, and
Cover
Bud Dwight.
here. Bud on top.
No. Tony Gunn gets a shoulder up, and once again, we're witnessing another championship classic.
Again, these two have had a series of matches for the ages, some of the best in the history of Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Bud Dwight signaling for inebriation. No. Tony Gunn blocked inebriation and going for YTO. You'll tap out.
That patented Texas Cloverleaf submission. Is the party starter going to give it up? Can the party starter hang on? And Bud scratching and crawling his way to the bottom rope with the veteran Tony Gunn. The champion drags him back into the ring here.
Look at this, Bud Dwight.
Into the cover.
And Tony Gunn's holding on to YTO.
Wow.
Can you imagine the pain? That's going all the way from the ankles to the knees to the back, and Bud Dwight somehow.
That is 230 pounds on the small of the spine of the party starter, Bud Dwight. Then Bud's carrying half of his own weight, and he's finally able to make it to the rope.
What a match we're having here. This is just our opener.
Again, the stakes are high. Majority owner Dean Hill has put a 6-month ban between Tony Gunn and the party starter Bud Dwight. They will not meet again for this television title this year.
So it's do or die time. If Bud Dwight wants to make a move, he better do it tonight. Reversal, and gets caught. Bud Dwight's in some serious trouble here, and Tony Gunn gets scooped up, however. Tony Gunn scoop, and it's going to hit the shotgun. No. Hangover slam, and Tony Gunn feels it coming.
Jockeying for position here.
Shotgun, that's it.
Champion retains.
No!
Look at the heart. Look at the will. Look at the drive in the party starter here.
I can't believe it. Tony Gunn can't believe it, Gilbert Corsi.
Dwight knows this is his last chance. It's go for broke right now for both of these young superstars.
And Tony Gunn has that TV title belt, that same belt that knocked out Bud Dwight on more than one occasion in the past.
Party starter sat on the shelf for nearly a month after receiving a concussion after getting a DDT on the title, thanks to Tony Gunn.
Referee A.J. Lucio pulling the TV title belt. Hangover slam out of nowhere.
Party starter connects, leg is hooked, new champ.
No. And now Bud Dwight can't believe it. What a fight, what a battle.
And this is just the beginning of the hour, ladies and gentlemen. The heavyweight title's on the line in our main event.
On so many different occasions, I thought this match was over. Gilbert Corsi thought this match was over, and this title match continues. Going for another hangover slam, but Tony Gunn holding onto the ropes. And pounds down on the challenger with a series of forearm DDT on Bud Dwight.
Game changer, floats over into the cover. This could be it with the party starter showing us he still has some gas left in the tank. What resiliency here from Bud Dwight.
And look at the look of frustration in Tony Gunn's face. Look at the look in his eyes. That tells the whole story right there.
A picture's worth 1,000 words, Ron Hedge. You took the words right out of my mouth.
And now Tony Gunn.
Gunn's gone to the floor, and he's got a chair here.
This is a champion that is just a little bit desperate here.
And again, referee A.J. Lucio stopping. Gunn, but Gunn, that was a bait and switch. And Gunn knocked the party starter out of the title. Not again.
The referee did not see any of this.
Into the cover, and Gunn's gonna retain. No, he's not.
How does Bud Dwight get that energy to get a shoulder up, Gilbert?
The party starter reached down into the pit of his soul for that one.
This is an amazing title match up here.
And that proverbial 12th man here in Davis Arena, trying to will Bud Dwight back to his feet.
That's the same move with the title belt to the face that concussed Bud Dwight.
Shotgun Tony Gunn with a rugged Ronnie Garvin-like stomp.
And a roll-up from behind. Two in.
Gunn's back up to his feet, tries a clothesline, ducks and mitts, and we got a head-on collision on I-65.
Like two Mack trucks colliding on the interstate, both of them down.
And I'm not quite sure who got the worst of that exchange.
Now, both these men get counted out.
What happens then? What happens to the 6-month stipulation? I guess if both get counted out, then the champion retains. You gotta beat the champion.
The champion, Tony Gunn, would retain, and Bud Dwight will have to wait another 6 months, but Bud Dwight and Tony Gunn both on their feet, and now they're just exchanging right hands. It's breaking down into pugilism here.
Who has more to lose here? Party starter Bud Dwight?
Good
or Tony
Lord.
Gunn? I guess the champion, because he's got the title, and with that 6-month clause, Gunn doesn't even get a rematch.
No rematch for 6 months, and both these men are beating the hell out of each other, just like it's their last chance. With a series of Kobashi chops and the champion.
What you're seeing right now is how well both of these guys know each other. When you train together, you work together.
Inebriation! Inebriation! Inebriation out of nowhere!
Now, and Bud
And
Dwight's
that's it,
gonna
new
do
champion, new champion! Your winner and new OVW TV champion, party starter, Bud Dwight!
Bud has done it! Bud has done it! The biggest single win in his OVW television career! The party starters having a party tonight!
New champion, an incredible match to open up today's telecast. But from behind, the former champion, Tony Gunn, knocking Bud Dwight down. And Gunn has that TV title belt, the same belt he just lost. Bud Dwight ducks underneath, another knee to the face.
Talk about what the party starter survived. He was hit in the head with that title tonight. He's been knocked out with a television title at least a dozen times by Tony Gunn. And Dwight, at this moment, looking like he wants a little bit of revenge, and he gets it.
That is a receipt, payback from the party starter, Bud Dwight. Payback from the new OVW TV champion.